Hello everyone, this is Silvio. I'm a Business Central developer um, and I cover tips on how to work with Business Central on a day-to-day basis. And I'm planning to cover um, on my videos all the tools that somebody involved with Business Central, be that a developer or a consultant or an administrator. Um, so I'm planning to cover all the tools that somebody working with Business Central um, needs to know. And today I'm going to look at the Business Central Admin Center, and you'll see how fast we're going to become a master in Business Central environment administrations. Business Central Admin Center, it's on the screen now for just some customer and user, and um, as you can see, the screen is made of, on the left hand side, of different blades, and we're gonna just start with the most important one, the environments. When you become a Microsoft Business Central customer, you will get access to 4 environments. One of them is production, as you can see here. Production, we can see that this is a production environment because the type, it says production. And 3 sandboxes. This is maximum you can get with your normal license. I have here 3 created, but when you first start, you're gonna only have one, or maybe not even one. If you don't have any, you click on new and you get started with one with your first environment. Why so many sandboxes? Well, Business Central is an ERP, an enterprise resource planning system, and it's a complex system that allows modifications and code modifications, and coming from either from Microsoft or from your partner or from your team of developers. And all these modifications have to be staged. We have, for example, in this case, I have a dev sandbox, and this would be the target for developers to work and plan new features. And then you have I have here a sandbox and another sandbox. Some of the sandboxes can be used for user acceptance testing, and when everything is fine, the changes that the developers have worked on can promote the changes and can be promoted. All these changes can be promoted in production environment. We're not going to cover that. We're just going to look at the admin center and try to cover as much as I can in short time. So for each line we have an environment, and we can see what the type of the environment is. Business Central. You might see in other admin centers, like for Power Platform or for Dataverse. You can see other applications. Production is a production type of environment. Its state is active. Country region is US, the current version of the environment, and what is possible to upgrade it to. So right now we are on 21.5 on production, but we can update it to 22.0. We're going to talk about schedule, update date, and the security group a bit later. The second environment is a dev environment. It's a sandbox environment. It's called dev. It's active and it's pretty much the same, except that here we have a schedule update date for tomorrow, which is May 6th. The other 2 are the same as the second one. Notice here a rectangle and a corner arrow. This is if you want to connect to that environment, you just click on this link and you're in Business Central production environment. Or if you click on this link, you're in the dev sandbox. Let's look at details about each of these environments. So if we click on dev, we get a card here with different attributes that this environment has. Is the name here, the application, country. This is stuff that we've seen on the previous list page. What is important here is if your end user or your tenant has an application insight service set up in Azure, you can add it here, you can connect to it so that Microsoft can Microsoft code and your ISV's code can write telemetry data into that application insight service. Security group is basically a way of controlling the access to the environment. You can set up groups in Azure. You can of users. You can assign these users to either access or deny them the access to this environment. If you click on define, you can see here this is the data that's coming up from Azure, and you can set access to this environment by these groups. Sometimes we only want just a read access to Business Central, and let's say you have users that you don't want to assign them a full license access to Business Central. You can use this portion of the screen here to allow access based on a Microsoft 365 license and not specifically a Business Central license. This is the URL for navigating to the environment. Clicking on it, you will get the environment, access to the environment. While it's still loading, let's go back here. This is this area of the screen. It tells us more about what do we have in this environment, the application version, the platform version, if there are available updates, and when the updates are scheduled to run, to be implemented, and the time, and if the rollout state is active. And that is on this side of the screen, data mostly around features of this environment, dev environment. At the top we have a link here for apps. So if you have extensions installed, and you most likely will have extensions installed because the whole Business Central is based on extensions, starting with the lowest level, the Microsoft system application, base application. We can see here all the extensions that you have here, and we can see here some of these extensions that are installed in your environment have available updates, so you can install them directly from here. And I can see here Zetadocs also has an available update. So that would be, going back here, that would be the apps action. Sessions, we can see here what are the active users logged in Business Central. For this dev environment, it's only me, I can see. But yeah, what we get here is a list of users. And on the right hand side, at the top, we can see, we can select one session, we can click cancel session, or we can click here. You can have many sessions, you can select more, and then you can say cancel select sessions, and you're gonna cancel all sessions in one hit. And then you have refresh. You might be here on this screen for a while, and then you come back after 10 minutes. Some sessions might not be, the sessions will not be refreshed here. If you want to refresh, click on refresh. Restart environment is it's what the name says. You're basically restarting the service for this environment. And let's go back. Database, what this database menu here offers us is to create a database export. The database behind Business Central is stored in Azure SQL Server, and when we click on create database export, we can get basically a backup of database in a backpack format. And yeah, you can potentially restore it on a different Azure SQL Server and just run it, run your Business Central away from the Microsoft infrastructure, or on the Microsoft infrastructure, but not in the dedicated Azure SQL Server. View export history, as you can probably guess, it's just a list of all the exports you did. Support, if you have an issue with this admin center, you can create a new support request. Update settings, it's basically the same thing as clicking here in this area where you schedule your updates. Copy, restore, rename, delete. These are operations to copy is to basically copy environment. So right now we are on the dev environment, and we can click on copy, and if we click on copy, we get a message that, at least in this case, we don't have enough space. We're gonna get to the space a bit later, but this is one of the most used operations for an environment. If for example you want to test something and you have nothing else than just production, let's say we don't have these environments here, then what we need to do is go to production and say copy, and we will get a screen where if you have enough space, you can create a copy of production. And restore is basically if you deleted an environment, I won't obviously I won't click on deleting production, that would be very bad, but if you decide to delete an environment, let's say in this case dev, you're gonna get here a prompt to say that yeah, we do want to delete the dev environment, which I don't want to right now. But once it is deleted, you will see that environment here under recently deleted environments. You see this link on the main page, recently deleted environment, and then you're gonna see your environment that you deleted in the list here. You click on it, and you'll be able to restore it. So let's say you accidentally deleted an environment, you can restore it. Rename it is just what the name says. We can just type in the new name here, and the dev environment is going to be renamed to the new name. And delete we discussed, and refresh is just refreshing this card page here. So that would be the Environments Blade. Also, you can see here service health. Basically, this is data coming from the Microsoft 365 admin page, where you can find a health status of all the Microsoft applications. Right now it says 0 incidents or advisories. We are all good on Business Central, no issues. Notification request recipients is a way of Microsoft to communicate with the owners or the stakeholders of this tenant through emails. So, for example, when a new version becomes available, the people that are mentioned here in notification recipients will receive an email from Microsoft that a new version is available. When an upgrade fails, the list of the recipients, the emails, will receive a communication email from Microsoft saying that a particular environment failed. Authorized AAD apps. This is for an app registration. You create an app registration in Azure, and if you wanna communicate with Business Central Admin Center, this tool here that we have, you can, through the means of this authorized AD apps, to talk to the Admin Center API. So, for example, if you want to copy an environment, you don't have to be here on the screen. You can do a post request to the Business Central Admin Center to copy, let's say, production environment. So, authorized AD apps is for API requests to the Business Central Admin Center. Telemetry, as I mentioned here, each environment can be connected to an application insights. You do it through here, through this define link, and once you're connected, that application insights gets will start receiving telemetry data from within your environment. For each action, everything that's done in Business Central will have a log created in your application insights. On the other hand, if you don't do that, there is still some telemetry logged and available for display in this blade here. Reported outages, you might find here a list of times when Business Central was down. Operations is everything you do to the system. You're updating an app, or you're copying an environment, or you're deleting an environment. Everything is stored in here. All the operations are logged in here. When they were started, when they were completed, by whom, the type of the environment. Capacity Blade is about your database. We can see here that I have 210 gigabytes available, and I'm already past that. The 210 gigabytes available, you get a drill down on it. How did you get 210? Well, everybody gets 80 gigs, and then you add your user licenses, and here you go, you arrived at 210. And you can also purchase additional capacity. Talk to your partner if you want to have a bit more. Here is how is the quota split. You have production environments and sandboxes. This particular customer has 5 maximum sandboxes. 3 of them are taken, he has already 3 sandboxes, and these 3 sandboxes are in the production. They already passed their quota, so something has to be done here to come within the quota. what's happening here is we have a list of all the environments and how big is the database per environment. And if you want to see even more, if you want to drill even more into each environment, so let's say for production, if I want to see how is the data distributed, we can click on the list of tables, and that's going to bring up a page 8700, and that will display a list of all the tables in Business Central and how much data each table takes out of the database. Still loading. We're going to jump back here, and yeah, I think we covered everything, and hopefully you know now more than you knew 15 or 20 minutes ago. Thank you very much, and I hope this is useful. Please subscribe, please like, let me know if you have any questions. I will do my best to help you. Thank you.